calls,
you'll eventually get the 20% back. That Silver Connect card is going to pay her co-payments. Remicade, I believe, is an injectable, and her hospitalization co-payments. And tell them to turn his Part B on. All right, it's time to rock and roll. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Medicare and You. This is Michael Regan. It is August 14th, 2013. Hopefully I didn't park in anyone's special parking spot, or I'll get my car towed. I'm just joking. All right, so today I am lucky enough to have Dr. Eileen George in the studio and Christina Colon. I'm lucky enough to be on the foundation board at Naugatuck Valley Community College. About a month ago, I'm sitting in a board meeting, and they usually start around 11:45 and they go till about 1:30. For the first half hour, most of us were almost brought to tears with a nice success story, so you'll hear that. Dr. George is in charge of the entire allied health nursing program. She's going to discuss all that with you. But a little background on herself. She was a nursing professor with the college from 1994 through 2011. She was a registered nurse at St. Mary's Hospital from 1985 through 1994. I was born at St. Mary's Hospital.
So was I.
Yes, very proud of that. Very proud of
spirits.
that. As well as Christina. So Dr. Nijame, Franklin Nijame, was my mom's OBGYN. So for you seniors out there that are listening, you'll be motivated by this story. At the end of the show, we're going to hopefully have a topic that I'm going to try to kick off the ground. Dr. George will take care of that. We're going to have our classic Mattatuck Minute right now at the top of the hour, and then we'll just let the show roll. Stephanie Harris, how's your day going?
Great, Mike. How are you?
Good. No complaints. 14th of August. What do you have on the agenda for us?
Well, we have this evening the first installment. It's a 3-part series that we're rolling out. It's called Drop-In Drawing in the Galleries. Drop-in
drawing?
That's right. So it's a free sketch time from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Again, it starts tonight, and it's the next 3 Wednesdays.
Okay.
And we have an artist on hand, a local artist. Her name is Lisa Marie Lewis. And she's going to just kind of mill around and answer any questions and give some feedback. But it's really an open call for people to just come into the museum after hours. It's nice and quiet, and just sit and really look at paintings and investigate the galleries and do some of your own sketching. So something, like I said, that we're just rolling out. We're excited to see how it goes this evening. And let the program go moving forward.
Lisa Marie Lewis is a graduate of School of Visual Arts in New York City. She is unbelievably talented, brilliant artist. I know her personally.
Wonderful.
The woman actually got a job with Disney and passed because this is one of the reasons I like her. Her father passed away, and she actually literally had to move back to the Waterbury area to help the family.
Oh, wow.
And talk about passing on fame for family. That's a good person. She really is a great lady. Is this Stephanie Coakley's program?
It is, yes. Stephanie Coakley has said nothing but good things about Lisa as well. She's really excited to have her here at the museum. It's kind of a special treat for us. And like I said, she's going to be here to not necessarily do a structured instructional kind of program, but just give feedback and answer any kind of questions. And it's a very loose forum, I guess.
Do me one favor. Touch base with Stephanie. Everyone's got an iPhone these days. If you need her phone number, I can share contact with you. I believe Lisa had a family emergency. There's a chance she's up in Canada right now. Just double check on that.
I certainly will.
All right. How's the Mattatuck Museum doing, and how's the exhibits been going?
Very well. We're in the midst of our summer exhibitions right now.
Beautiful.
And speaking of that, we're actually reinstalling the 19th century, the early American gallery, as we speak. The Carrie Welton painting that on the show we've talked about it being conserved and coming back to the museum. It was being hung downstairs for a while on special view in the history exhibit. But we've brought that back upstairs, and so to do so, we've rearranged the Early American Gallery. We took out a couple pieces, put in some new ones from our permanent collection, so that'll look a little different for visitors as they're coming in for the rest of the summer.
So basically, Carrie came home.
Carrie did. She's home, and now she's back upstairs in the gallery where she belongs.
She looks magnificent.
Yeah, I'm really excited. She looks amazing with that orange paint behind her. It really brings out some of those greens in the piece. So she looks wonderful in her new home in the Early American Gallery.
How did First Thursday go last week?
Stephanie Coakley was here, and she gave us a report that it was a wonderful event, that the performer was thrilled to be here, that we had a great turnout, and people really responded to the harp as an alternative for jazz. Nice.
And then I actually saw a blurb in my Watertown Town Times about the yoga in the galleries. How's that going for Stephanie?
It's going really well. Bryn Mandel from the Republican American was here, and she covered the yoga session that we had on Tuesday of last week. And Stephanie, it's been so popular, and we've had such a great response that moving forward, it's going to be weekly instead of biweekly.
Oh, really?
So, yep, she found an instructor to come in who was here last night for the first time, and Stephanie was really excited to find her and bring her in. So it's going to be a weekly occurrence. People can plan on coming
for yoga
every Tuesday at 5:30 for yoga here
Excellent.
At the museum.
Right on. And also, let's give Jess, our fabulous Director of Development, a plug. There's going to be a large function. Hopefully all the community is going to come out for Jim and Kathy Smith.
Absolutely.
Kathy Smith is unbelievably philanthropic. What a doer. She doesn't just talk, she does. And one thing I like about her is she never wants attention. She doesn't want the accolades. So the Mattatuck Museum has voted this year to give the Brass Button Award to James C. Smith and I think M. Kathy Smith, and they couldn't be a more deserving couple. That's on September 20th, and it will be at the Mattatuck Museum.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it's a Friday evening. We're expecting a lot of corporate response because Webster as well is so philanthropic and always supporting community events, not just in Waterbury, but around the state. So we're really looking forward to corporate attendance, people who aren't used to being here at the museum, who may not have set foot through our doors before. So we felt it was really important to keep the Brass Button here at the museum this year and really introduce those people to the wonderful exhibitions and work that we do here as well.
Absolutely.
In conjunction with everything that Jim and Kathy have done for the community.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, so that's the Mattatuck Minute every top of the hour here at Medicare and You. Stephanie Harris, have a great Wednesday.
Great, thanks you too, Mike.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Okay, so now this is the nice part of the show. I literally turn it over to you, Dr. George. It's the rest of the time is yours. And please introduce Christina and have her tell her incredible story.
Sure. Well, first I'd like to thank you, Michael, for inviting me.
My pleasure.
Is a true pleasure and a delight to be here. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of our physical therapist assistant graduates, Miss Christina Cologne. She is a shining example in every way of a success story from a community college. And I often say, at Naugatuck Valley, we put the community in community college. It's just not words on a sign when you enter the campus, that the community and the students really are our most sacred trust. I think we embody that mission in that statement. So, Christina, please share your story, which we were so moved by.
Definitely.
Please share it again with the audience.
Sure. Thank you, and thank you, Michael, for having me.
My pleasure.
A wonderful experience.
Really proud of you.
So, as Michael said, about last month, I did speak at their foundation board meeting, which was awesome. Everyone was very welcoming. And one of the first questions I got asked were, did you have a job? And I said, well, of course. I am currently working at St. Mary's Hospital on an outpatient basis. I did begin on an inpatient basis and kind of slowly transitioned to outpatient therapy. We're on 1312 West Main Street, across from the 24-hour CVS. I was born and raised in Waterbury. I'm 23 years old for now, 24 next month. And a majority of my life I lived with my mother and two younger sisters. And really throughout high school I was kind of unsure of where I wanted to go. what I wanted to do. And I took my SATs, and I had all these schools lined up before I was going to apply to. And at that point, I really wasn't sure of what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And my mom's always worked hard, and we never had to, need or want for anything. We've always had anything we wanted. But I just didn't think it was the smart and financially sound idea to spend all of this money that I didn't quite have at that time on a school that I wasn't sure I was going to stay at. So I applied to Naugatuck Valley, and I got in, and I was able to find what I was interested in, and I was able to find that the PTA program was what I thought was right for me. I was able to shadow a few classes, and I was really drawn in to the program and the professors and just the atmosphere and learning that they provided. And one of the things that I tell people who ask me about the program is you really need motivation. You have to want to be a caregiver, and you have to want to treat patients. But it's not something that's too far out. I worked while I was in school throughout the entire program. It took me about 2.5 years, even though it's a 2-year program. I had my prereqs done for the most part, and I was able to work about almost 30 hours a week and still go to school and still have time to do what I wanted on the weekend or have some time for rest, just to kind of break things up so I wasn't so stressed all the time.
Sure.
And
we all can relate with the stress.
Yeah. So the professors, which is something unique that you don't see everywhere, were so supportive. And I remember just one time, this one experience that stands out for me because it was such a kind of a changing moment in the program and in my life. We were finishing up a lab, and I was going back in the changing room and changing, and I took out my phone, and I had some missed calls, and I had some missed texts. And right then I knew something was wrong, and I had gotten some bad news about someone that I was very close to at the time. And I remember by the time I walked out of the lab and into the lab room, the professors were already discussing what had happened. And I had got so emotional at that point, and they saw it, and they kind of just came to me. And, they gave me a hug, and they got my stuff for me, and I was able to leave. So that's something that outside of just the learning and the fact that they're always there for you if you have any questions, they're very supportive, and they showed that caring aspect that you don't always see in a teacher or a professor or an instructor. And along with that, the students there, there's about 30 students when you start. And it kind of dwindles down a little bit due to various reasons, but they become your second family because you're in school most of the week, and some weeks I saw my fellow students more than I saw my family at home. So you kind of build that support system there, and they're helping you study. You go in for open labs, and you can really kind of bounce ideas off each other and get your background in the concepts.
In school.
In school.
So you don't make a mistake out in the real world or the field.
Correct. Exactly.
Or the battleground, whatever you call it.
So I felt that support system between the professors and the students and what we learned, they really kind of set you up for success, which is one of the biggest things that I tell people when they come to me. Just this past week, we had a student come in shadow a couple days, and he was so interested, which is a great thing because sometimes you get people and they're not really sure what to do, but he was so interested and helpful, and he wanted to help out, and he asked questions. And I made it a point that it's all very doable, and the support you need is there. You'll have it at home with your family or your loved ones, but you'll have it in the school as well, which is so important to the success because you learn so much in such a little time that sometimes it gets overwhelming for people, but the support is there. And if you had asked me 6 years ago, I probably would have said no to come on here. I was just that type of kind of shy, don't really want to talk about it. But I jumped at the chance. I talked to Eileen. I said, I have to move these patients around. I have to get in. I have to come here.
No, it's to tell your success story.
Yeah.
That when you said that if you had asked me that I'd be in the boardroom at the college telling my story, I was like, this is a beautiful thing. There's a lot of my seniors out there who have granddaughters or grandsons that really are kind of lost in life, and they don't have any focus. You don't have to go taking on hundreds of thousands of dollars at a big university. You can get a core education here at Naugatuck Valley Community College and go right into a job. That's why I'm so proud of you. I mean, you did it.
I did,
and Dr. George will tout the success rate later, but apparently you're not the only one who's doing it. It's really making some good numbers.
Yeah, it's great, and that's something from Naugatuck Valley where when I finished, I had a job offer before I even had my official transcript.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, I didn't even have a license yet. I didn't have my transcript. I didn't even, set my exam up, and I had the job offer, which was great. And, Naugatuck Valley kind of gets you prepared for the program and the school itself of what you should be looking for in that job, what you should be looking into in salary terms and support terms. So I kind of knew, where to go with it. And the financial portion is always going to be, and the business side is always going to be there when you look for a job. But one of the biggest things that I liked about St. Mary's is that you have that preceptor program where you come in and they're not just throwing you into the fire. You're getting kind of trained in, because you're still a new grad. There's still so much for you to experience and see before you get kind of into the real patient aspect of it. And I like the fact that where I work, even though that we have to, remember productivity, when the patient comes in, I can look at that patient and say, okay, we're going to do what you need to get you better. And that's the biggest part of that. And the school contributed so much to that, to know that that's the kind of job that you want in that kind of institution.
Right.
So, I'm always very happy and proud of my decision to go to Naugatuck Valley and where I chose to work.
I see that in your talking points.
It is.
Nicely done, Christina.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to take a commercial break, and then Dr. George is going to discuss all her success story. And why am I doing this? Because you're out there listening, and I know you know somebody who just could be steered in the right direction. Some programs, after the break we'll talk about, are even closed out. There's waiting lists, so that's not a bad thing. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Talk to you then.